Oh man.
Gee, what you humility being a lie?
Yeah, yeah. You didn't get the memo?
I okay, so yes, but again, it's I don't want to I feel like I personalize everything. And and when I tell you that
That's the artist in you.
that fake humble shit, bruh, killing
Yeah.
that, killing killing the ego. I didn't know that that was a form of killing the ego though. Like that fake humble shit is a big occupier of that ego space, because and it's almost sicker than the person that is presenting themselves to have a big ego, right? The I did this, King Kong ain't got nothing on. That person is way easier to deal with than the person that's fake humble. And that was me for a really, really long time. Oh, fam, I didn't really do nothing, man. That was just like, shut up. That's so stupid. I did a lot.
Nah, it's not me, it's you, fam. You know what I'm
Hey,
saying?
but why
Like you.
but why you gotta rub the chest though? To rub the chest is a real thing. Like,
You
hey,
know, I'm just
hey,
saying,
baby.
like, like, why would I do these things? You know what I'm saying? You know? I could never, you know what
I
I'm
could
saying?
never
Not on
I
your
could
time,
I could
you know
never
what I'm saying?
is crazy. I could never is nuts.
They be lying, bro. Like, stop that shit. Get that shit up
Stop
out
that.
of here. Like, nobody
Stop
want to
that
hear
shit.
that. Nobody want to be around it. And if that is you, man, I need you to do more. You know what I mean? I need you to get better. You know, that's about it. Like, that humility shit be killing me. And I'm just tired of it, man. I'm just tired of folks acting as if, especially because 2020 happened. And
Oh,
2020 showed everybody's true side. You know what I mean? Like, you couldn't even hide behind humility when 2020 happened. Like, you saw everybody at their full blown survival instinct mode. So either in those times they went all the way to like aggressive aggression,
hmm.
to where they didn't give a fuck like like who they were talking to, what the other person was feeling, what they were getting, what they were receiving, what was coming back. You know, any of that stuff that was out the window. I'm going through it. Here is me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or you had the folks that was able to step back and like reassess the situation and did something where now the blessings is a little bit more of like where they can help at. Type to now like something has passed and like now we're back to like the humility shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that's kind of how that thing works. I think it's more so you should just completely be you and let me know who I'm dealing with. You know what I mean? For first and foremost, like I don't think there is a need for like that little built-in filter. I think the filtering is like lost time, and I'm not about lost time. Like I don't need any, I don't need any information that lapses in this with us doing like these fake greets. Like I don't appreciate it. And I think more so where we can get a lot more done both coming to the table with all the information in hand for us to figure out what we about to do with it. And I think that's a lot more. That's kind of more. That's the time that I'm on a little bit more. So the humility shit was just kicking me. You know what I mean? So I just have to speak out on it. That might be what an L don't fuck with moment. My bad. I might have went off on that one, but I wasn't. I don't fuck with it. Just because I saw too many sides. Like money, I told you how many times nigga got sued this year, but also the situation I just dealt with. Like I literally have seen so many different situations and been in so many different situations where individuals are all that shit went to the wayside. So there's like just keep it real now. I think we'll be good.
Yeah, especially what are you in even reaching back, right? Your days at a at a syndicated radio station like that, the politics there. I like I, and then people, you make these assumptions like, oh, they gotta be crazy. I don't even want to do that. Like I'm just imagining based off of my experience in corporate when you have a mix of like the highest level of corporate and but leveraging creative, that just makes for an insane space for that shit to take place. What did you experience in that in regards to like humility and like what how that could be, you know, leveraged?
I think it's interesting because I started there when I was 19 years old, and I never had a job before then. I didn't have like a teenage job or anything like that. So for a while that was all I knew. So I was like, oh, this is normal. Like this is corporate life. Like this is how people run. Like I'm even reading a book now called Bad with Money, and she was talking about the unpaid internship program. And it's like in hindsight, that shit is disgusting. Like the way they gatekeep people out. And when you're part of that system, like brainwashed is a strong word, but if that's all you know, that's all you know. So it's like us priding ourselves on the fact that we were unpaid interns and we were going in on, you know, our grandma's birthdays and working shifts, and you know what I mean? Like you create this weird level of pride, but also there's humility to it too, where it's like, oh no, you're not on yet, so you can't, not that you can't talk about what you do, but it's kind of like, well, when I get there, then I can talk about it, but I can't talk about it right now because I'm not there yet. So it's like these levels of just like, you know, I'm working my ass off. I'm, you know, just doing crazy things ultimately. And then, yeah, paying dues.
Who made that
in
shit?
so many ways. but yeah, so it's something that is hard to realize until you come out of it, to where it's like, oh, that I don't regret it, but I can understand the flaws in that system. And yeah, it was just really running around like, you know, I'm technically still an intern, or I'm technically still lower tier, or I'm, you know, and so in a lot of it is just very implied. Like it's not like somebody comes up to you and goes, hey, you know, it's just very implied and you feel it. And to walk around with that feeling is very interesting. But then for me personally, like I set it to where, oh, okay, like once I'm on, like I'm on air, like I'm gonna be this and I'm gonna be that. And it's like you don't realize until afterwards, like that's not how things work. Like me getting on air also internally isn't going to make me less of an introvert. Like I'm not all of a sudden going to be, it's like, no, that's just who I am. So it's like, yeah, politics wise within it, money wise, and just internally, like getting to that place is not how it works. Like, it's the journey, not the destination, is hella cliche, but it's like, that's really how you have to carry yourself in any instance, especially if it's corporate, because there's going to be some weird shit that had nothing to do with you, but you still fall into it. So
yeah, we can say it. Corporate is bullshit.
It is.
Corporate is complete bullshit.
Yes.
Like the atmosphere in and around it, you just see that it's built around people trying to keep their jobs. Like that's literally the culture that's created. So the higher up you go, the even more tight ass you become, because of like the person right above you, you're on a certain stream. So you're underneath somebody that as they improve, you also can improve. So this is kind of like a kiss ass type of deal that you go through your entire lineage of it. And you suppress even more the further up you go. You know what I mean? So like it's not like, oh, once I start making this amount, or once I start doing this in my job title, then, you know, all these things are going to change. Or I can be the change within, bro, it's not my company. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how the idea is. Like it's not like, when it's your company, then yes, you can be the change that you want to see and see if that shit works out. But within somebody else's shit, this is kind of the things that I kind of appreciate, like the folks that I'll be working with, like literally don't come in here with like the emotions of like how things are operating, you know, like kind of like it's more so like you insert yourself into the situation, but don't allow this to consume you. Like I would say, you need to find out something else that you love to do, and do this in the meantime until you can do that. Like don't fucking blood, sweat, tear yourself into somebody else's shit. You know what I mean? Like that's not the like do everything you can so that you can continue to move up. You know what I mean? So you can make more to foster whatever it is you want to do. But it's not a matter of what you know, the more you put into it and they're gonna see me this way, bro, they don't give a fuck.
at
They can care less. What they
all.
see is how I'm gonna feed my family, and they will cut your throat in order to do so. It is every day. Every day is a cut your throat moment.
Mm-hmm. And
Go ahead, Pastor. Go ahead, Spesh.
I was just gonna say, like, the other part of the humility too, like as you're speaking, like I'm thinking of, I'm thinking back, and it's like the humility was interesting too, because I look back on it almost as a downfall, because I wasn't comfortable walking into somebody's office and saying like, hey, I did this, look at me, like that's just not a part of who I am. And you would see other people go in and you're like, wait, they're on now, like what? And it's like they just know how to talk themselves up. But also, like, on the other side of that, like I completely agree, like your job has to be just your job, because you don't own that company. And not to sway anybody, but just in my own personal life, like I'm part of a union now, and it's like for me that has made a difference, because
Mm-hmm.
they get 8 to 5, and that's it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
contractually obligated 8 to 5, and I'm out. You don't get more, you don't get nothing. So to me, that was a boundary that I had to create myself, because, being 19 years old and putting myself into that position, and that's all I knew. A way for me to unlearn it was like, okay, this place has hard boundaries, hard contracts. Like this is what I need to do right now to kind of level out where I'm at and how I see things. Because yeah, like you said, you can't come in here with all these emotions and thinking that you're gonna run things and change things. No. So
Fam, this company has been around, and there hasn't been one person that come in here and ran a thing. You know what I mean? Like it's interesting. It's interesting because like it's a matter of how you compartmentalize your mind in these type of aspects, because somebody could hear that and feel like that is a down in the dumps moment as far as like how I should approach work. You know what I mean? And that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying look at what I just said and now there is no wins. You know, like now it should be like I should have even more of a dark cloud over me when I enter these aspects. That's not what I'm saying. Like
At
what I'm
all.
saying is that change your mind's approach to
Yes.
what your days are like. You know what I mean? Like you'll be a lot more happier inside knowing that you put what you did, because like you did the part that pays your bills.
yep.
And then off the clock, you did this, that, and the other for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you separated the two
Yes.
so that everything that you are is not consumed in what your work is. That's what
Mm.
people get fucked up. Like, why are you putting so much into your work, even though that's what they will tell you to do? You know what I mean? Like people even chastise you on you not putting everything into work. And that's why people get fucked up. Like
Yeah.
why would you put so much into that when you also have to have a balance of yourself? Like
Yeah.
yourself should not just be when I get tired and I fall asleep. Like that was my time to myself, was that I went to sleep last night for 2-3 hours. Like that shouldn't be yourself, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm talking about.
You,
Definitely.
you know when it clicked for me, G. I was trying to remember something happened. Oh no, it was the charity game for the city of Richmond basketball, and they wanted to use predominantly rappers, and then Sue and I forget who Sue and Coach Millis, but the Sue was like, "Yo, I picked you first," and I was like, "I haven't played basketball in God knows how long. Why would you do that? Like, are you crazy?" But his memory of me is being a dog, like for real, for real.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to remember back to that day, and those were like high school days, because at no point in college did I have that mindset. By the time I got into college, that first, by the time conference rolled around, my confidence was completely shot, and I never got it back ever. And I don't even think I've said that out loud. To be honest with y'all, but culturally, displacement. There's a whole bunch of things that I was experiencing freshman year of college, but especially that first few months during training, and then preseason happens, and then your confidence is slower, and like by the game, it was getting less and less and less, and just shit that was as easy as breathing my entire life, I completely forgot how to do. I couldn't remember, like, everything on the hoop court was so fluid and so much muscle memory. That shit was gone because everything that I knew instinctually wasn't what was being asked of from the coaching staff. It was the quite opposite. And I'm like, fam, I didn't even know that was a way to play basketball. Like, I didn't even know there was that much fucking thinking in basketball, bro. That shit was confusing because everything it was just an extension of me my whole life. All right. And so lost it, and then there would be moments when it would come back, but it never ever clicked again. So my disdain for hoop just grew more and more and more. But what I didn't realize was happening is that same sort of confidence and fake humility that I was being overcome by in hoop was creeping in my fucking, like, real life. So even when I'm dealing with people and something as simple as like, yo man, them shoes is clean. Oh baby, nah, like how you gonna dispute your shoes being tight? Like that, now that's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, now we gotta really analyze what the fuck is going on, right?
Yeah.
And so what I didn't want to happen, and I was very clear on that, is that I didn't want to be overcome by the same politics in rap that I was in sports. And I know that's a manny thing to say, but it happened from the rip. It happened from the rip. It's like, yo, Monty, we don't know what position you play. Okay, nigga, who fault is that? Like, I can do it all. That ain't my fault. That's your fault. Put me anywhere and I'll figure it out. If it's guarding the biggest man, if it's guarding the shortest cat, I'm an asset. Don't flip that on me and go, hey, we can't identify your position, so it's gonna make you unscoutable. That's crazy. So now fast forward, hoop is positionless. So who was wrong? If we go in hindsight, all right, bet. So I wasn't gonna be overcome by that.
Yeah, there might need to be.
Say it again.
My bad. There might need to be a doc just on that period of time in college sports, because like there was a period of time where it was a transition from the old time period of everything being stuck in a specific space to like people becoming so much more than just a specific position, to it then transitioning to there's no way to do this, so the mold gets broken. Exactly. And then now the way that it's streamlined in, there's folks that will get that opportunity that it's just a lot different. I don't want to downplay anybody's games, but it's just a lot different. For the landscape, for the landscape, when you take that mental block out of it, and the mental block isn't from the individual, the mental block is from the people that control
from the system. Yeah. So the system, and we've danced around it. We talked about it and kind of poked fun at it, but because it's so attached to the fake humbleness for me, I do feel like it's warranted to break down, because it's like, nah, fam, like, I'm a hooper. Like, that's all I've ever known, whether it's being an undersized big, that's just what it was. So you learn how to defend the big guys. All right, bet. Draymond, Charles Barkley, like, them niggas made a living off that shit. And so now for it to sort of become the norm, you see it in music. It's like, well, you don't make gangster rap, you don't make this, you don't make that. It's like, I just love music, fam. I'm here to do it. You're not gonna make that a knock on me because you don't know what to identify it as. That's a great thing that my sound isn't regional, that it's not even genre specific. The shout out to Concrete Violet, we did drop the Truth video that came out. I want to have Kate Noble on at some point to talk to them, but we're recording the album in Yountville, right in wine country. The most beautiful experience of my life. I've never made an album under these circumstances where it's food, it's good energy, it's sleep, it's plenty of weed. Like, it got everything you need, right? And the music is so different, it's so challenging. And I'm like, yes, this is awesome. I'm being pushed melodically, lyrically, conceptually, like all these things are happening. And then I remember sitting at the board, mixing my vocal in and being hella proud of the music, and turning around to Kate Noble and going, yo, my niggas may not fuck with this music at all, and it saddens me. And they're looking at me like, what are you talking about? But that was a thought a feeling that I had, because I was being me, right? And so to me, how my brain and my trauma assessed me feeling that free was like, oh, my real one's not gonna fuck with it. Fast forward to the record coming out and Freak going, yeah, this is the best thing you ever done. And he was the last person I expected to get that reaction from, you know, because it was so counter to anything he was sort of like encouraging me to do. And what I didn't want to continue was like, yo, I don't want to be overcome by those politics that I was in music, but I didn't even realize that I'd already been beaten. So that fake humble shit was having an impact on me creatively and even personality wise. Just like you impose favorite thing was like, Monty, you kind of got to be outside fucking around with us, man. Like, we got you. Like, you can't just be a hermit and expect people to fuck with the music and you being a man of the people. You can't, like, that don't exist, because you ain't outside for real, so we don't give a fuck what you talking about. You ain't outside. And L and Poe would say that religiously early, Spesh. And then I finally start to listen. And when I tell you, it was like somebody turned on a light switch for how fast the music started to connect, per them being like, you got to be out, you got to be out, you got to be out, to the point of even back to the Rod Digger conversation of getting help. We're in LA Grammy weekend. Elle and Poe get to the lab. They're faded too. They're fucked up. It's my bad, G, but y'all was big faded.
And that's why I went home after that. After this moment you about to talk about, I went to the house. I was like, oh, we're not going outside. We're gonna be in the school. I bet. Hey, y'all be amazing at this. I'm about to be up in the morning. I gotta go work out, but I'm going to sleep right now because I'm about to
not before. He didn't leave before, Spesh. He goes, we're going through beats, and I picked another one. And he's like, no, y'all should keep going. But it only resonated loud because he don't ever say shit like that, right? So, nigga, y'all heard the man. Keep going, like, keep going. So we keep going, and he goes, oh no, that one right there, that's it. And he goes, you should talk about this. I said, okay, easy enough. It's the easiest song I've ever recorded in my life. It was so easy because he picked the beat and the concept. It was like, yo, do that. And then went, all right, y'all, see y'all tomorrow. Like, what the fuck? And it was a true lesson in what humility is, because the fake humble, what I was doing when I was fake humble is L could have done exactly that, and me go, nah, I kind of want to do this, but mask it in, oh, peace, king, yeah. But I'm gonna just do, like, it's. I hope that makes sense. That's how my brain has processed this transformation, and it's not being on no fake shit, bro. And that fake humble shit is the most toxic and dangerous shit, because it's how I feel about it's why I'm so adamant about the liberals being really dangerous, right? Because those are the ones that buddy and pretend to be something that not, and ultimately do the most damage to the movement that's happening. And so when you being fake humble, even guess what else comes with being fake humble? Not genuinely being happy for your peers and your counterparts. That's also a part of it too, where you going, yeah, man, I'm just a fan of everybody, and I want to. That shit not real. And anybody that's talking like that aren't real for real. And I can say that because that's what I was doing, and still behind the scenes harboring ill will to the niggas who was like really moving for real. And then once that shit went away, and I really became fans of the niggas I was pretending to be fans of, man, how I've been able to collaborate with them, benefit from their spaces, and then bring it, like, it truly has been the shift for me personally. So that humility is a lot of shit hit on some personal shit, G. I just gonna put that out there like that. You know?